Tori Roloff of Little People, Big World gives us cuteness overload in this hilarious video with son Josiah. Hi everyone, thank you for returning to my channel. Please click the bell symbol and subscribe to the channel for the most recent news updates. Zach and Tori Roloff, stars of Little People, Big World, were blunt in their criticism of society's perception of children with dwarfism. In their July 4th Raising Heights podcast, Zach and Tori talked candidly about the hurtful remarks they receive from strangers. People who simply don't deserve to have a voice, honestly, in our lives, give us a lot of commentary, Tori said, and sometimes they question why we chose to have children when we knew they would have dwarfism. During each pregnancy, Zach, 34, and Tori, 33, had a 50-50 chance of conceiving a kid with dwarfism. But their three children, Josiah, 2, Lila, 4, and Jackson, 7, were all born with achondroplasia dwarfism. And I can't imagine in what world you live in that you can look at our three kids and say, yeah, that wasn't supposed to happen, Tori said of her three children with dwarfism that they chose to bring into the world. She said, I cannot look at my kids and see anything but the grace of God and the love of Jesus. And then comments will say, like, why would you bring kids with dwarfism in? They're going to get ridiculed. Zach elaborated on these feelings. And it says, wait a minute. Neither they nor I am responsible for that. Those are the issues of those folks. He went on, you're telling me that because of the mockery society would give them, I shouldn't have brought in children with dwarfism? It's a social problem. Society must evolve. Since Zach and Tori announced in February that they will not be returning for season 26 of the TLC series, Little People, Big World's future is currently uncertain. Hopefully, the parents of three will keep sharing about their lives and kids on their podcast and social media profiles, regardless of what happens with the reality TV show. Before welcoming Josiah into the world, Zach and Tori Roloff experienced a miscarriage, which they emotionally recall. Ahead of the birth of their third child, Tori and Zach Rolloff discussed the pregnancy loss they experienced. Before welcoming their third child, Tori and Zach Rolloff experienced a miscarriage, which they are now discussing. The former Little People, Big World stars talk about the loss of their child in 2021 on Thursday's episode of the Raising Heights podcast. Tori says she and Zach became pregnant very quickly after deciding they wanted to try for their third child, and they already had two children, Jackson, age 7, and Lilia, age 4. Tori claims she was having an easy first trimester, but when the couple went in for their 8-week visit, the devastating news was revealed. She claims, I remember thinking, this pregnancy is really easy. This is going really well. I was unaware that something was amiss. According to Tori, the ultrasound tech suspected something was off at the exam and told her that the baby had no heartbeat even though she wasn't meant to. I immediately started crying, Tori claims. This isn't happening. This isn't real. There is no way this is happening to me. Tori said that her outlook on the location where she always experienced joy shifted following the completion of 2 healthy pregnancies. I think that it was a huge mind shift for me because going to those appointments, it was always such a fun experience, she elaborates. Everything changed on that day regarding what that clinic is and what that clinic can be. I was thrilled to see my baby, get all these adorable pictures, hear the heartbeat, and do all these fun things. It was always such a joy. Tori claims that the doctors informed her that she could either have an aided treatment called a DNC, dilatation and curettage, which is a procedure to remove tissue from inside your uterus, or she may choose to let the pregnancy end naturally. According to the Mayo Clinic, medical practitioners use dilation and curettage to identify and treat specific uterine diseases, such as severe bleeding or to remove the lining of the uterus following an abortion or miscarriage. She became tearful and said, I can remember just being so mad at my body after that. I had what was called a missed miscarriage, which means that my body didn't realize that the baby passed on. So I was left with the decision with how do you want to move forward because it had been 3 weeks, because that's where the growth had stopped. She continues, I was so mad at my body. Why do I have to make the decision of how to move forward? That's why I was so mad at my body because this is not something that I want to be making the decision on right now. Tori followed the DNC plan. The fact that Katie and Zach had told their relatives, children, and the little people, big world crew about her pregnancy and had to break the devastating news to them was another factor contributing to the miscarriage. 3 kids, you get kind of excited. You announce it a little earlier, Zach explains. You get a little bit more excited, and you jump ahead a little bit. That's what I remember telling the TV people, the family. The pair had to go back on camera and endure the grief after initially revealing their 3rd pregnancy on the show at the time. Since it must fit into their plot or their planned episode, sharing sensitive content on camera in reality television is difficult, Zach explains. They can't show at 20 minutes. They can't share a 20-minute explanation, which we feel is necessary to understand your point of view. Zach explains. It's difficult because of that. This is our baby, Tori continues, but they won't give it the justice it deserves. I consider pregnancy to be the birth of a child. Therefore, it felt like we had lost a piece of our family when we lost that baby. Tori was intending to announce the news on social media the week of the miscarriage, but instead she told her followers that she and Zach had lost their baby, and they were overwhelmingly supportive. You don't feel alone because so many individuals have come out of the woods, including former co-workers and people from my personal life, she says. I was so grateful that I shared that information just because then I felt comfort from the women who had gone through the same thing that I went through. Tori and Zach announced they were expecting a boy in November 2021. The couple announced Josiah's birth in May 2022. Regarding her decision to wait to make the announcement public, Tori explains, "We didn't tell people that I was pregnant with Josiah until I was halfway done because I didn't want to go through that again, and we have to backtrack." Tori, however, adds that she couldn't image their lives without Josiah in addition to sharing to ensure that ladies didn't feel alone. Without Josiah, it's difficult to imagine our lives now, she says. That's very difficult for me to picture where we would be without him and how much I'm obsessed and I love him. He would not be here if it wasn't for everything that happened. One day, we'll get to meet our baby. Tori Roloff of Little People, Big World gives us cuteness overload. In this hilarious video with son Josiah, a cute new video that Tori Roloff took while spending time with her youngest son is making viewers smile. The Little People, Big World stars kept fans informed about all the adorable events and significant anniversaries in her life since revealing her family's exit from the TLC reality show. This includes social media posts featuring images and videos of her 3 children with her husband, Zach Rolloff. This also applies to her most recent Instagram post. Fans were thrilled when Tori shared a short video earlier this week showing her spending quality time with her 2-year-old son, Josiah. In the video, Tori hugs the child from behind while kissing his face on either side alternately, causing her son to burst out laughing. Can we prolong these giggles indefinitely? Several of her Instagram followers commented and gushed about Tori and her family after the devoted mother pleaded in the description of her upload on Wednesday, October 2nd. One of the most appreciated comments was, "This is such a beautiful moment. For years to come, these memories will be deeply felt. This little guy is adorable." Before someone else said, "Cuteness overload," another yelled, "How stinking cute is he?" said a fourth. I'm not sure who is enjoying themselves more, Mom or Josiah. Another fan commented that Josiah and his older brother are quite similar, saying, "He looks just like Jackson when he laughs." In addition to Josiah and Jackson, who is 7 years old, Tori and Zach also have a daughter, Lila, who will turn 5 next month. According to Tori Roloff of Little People, Big World, her father disapproved of her relationship with Zach. Tori and Zach Rolloff, who were married in 2015 and have 3 children, discuss how their romance started in high school. Tori and Zach Rolloff are talking about how their family doubted their love in the beginning of their relationship. The Little People, Big World alumni discuss their experiences as a mixed-height couple on Thursday's episode of the Raising Heights podcast, with Zach having dwarfism and Tori being typical in height. Like many others, Tori admits throughout the interview that her family and friends were curious when she told them she was seeing Zach, particularly her father, who wasn't initially thrilled about the prospect. As she prepares to go on a date with you, she recalls telling Zach who you are and showing him a photo of you. He was like, "No, what are you talking about?" she says. "This is not the guy I pictured for you." He literally asked, "Are you sure?" Multiple times. He was like, "I don't know about this." She continues, "Then he met you, and I joke all the time, but pretty sure my dad likes you better than me now. My whole family likes you more." In 2011, Tori, 33, and Zach, 34, started dating while still in high school. 2015 saw the couple be married on the Rolloff family property. They have 3 children together: Josiah, 2, Lilia, 4, and Jackson, 7. According to Tori, her father's opinion on Zach and the disparity in height changed when he met him. "But once he met you, he definitely forgot about the height difference," Tori says, adding, "He was like, 'Oh, I think I get it.'" After getting to know Zach, her family and friends were able to set aside their doubts and worries about their romance. "I believe my friends and family had some reservations when we first started dating, but after they got to know you, they all said, 'Gosh, I see why this girl is into him.' I understand this situation, this relationship," she says. Height didn't matter. Tori had no trouble getting people to ignore the obvious physical element, even though Zach says it can be difficult as a person with a disability. Tori adds, "You seek for all these things that are wrong when the person isn't perfect for you. Once I met you, there was nothing wrong with you, even though your height isn't what I would have expected. Nothing was there for me to dissect." Zach and Tori acknowledge that they haven't had many public setbacks in their relationship, but they attribute that to their fame on Little People, Big World. They also say that ignoring others has benefited them. "External opinions shouldn't matter," Tori asserts, adding that they may have prevented both you and me from finding pleasure. "We didn't let the opinions of others to affect our relationship or us." During their time on Little People, Big World, Tori and Zach's romance blossomed. Since 2006, Zach's family has been featured on the show, including his parents, Amy and Matt Rolloff, and 3 siblings. Tori and Zach formally left the show with their children at the conclusion of the most recent season earlier this year. Will season 26 of Little People, Big World return? Given that Zach and Tori Roloff's adventure came to an end in the Little People, Big World Season 25 finale, the future of the venerable TLC reality show is left up in the air. On their podcast Raising Heights, the couple first revealed their decision to end their relationship in February 2024, citing family conflicts as the cause. "We are not coming back, and we made that pretty clear the last cycle," Zach Rolloff said when discussing their departure. "We're beyond the difficult last cycle that involved the family and the farm deal. We've moved on." His wife went on to say that it was difficult for them to keep filming because of the growing conflict about who owned the family land. The show's 25th episode included Zach and Tori Roloff and their 3 children, as well as parents Matt and Amy Roloff and their partners, Karen Chandler and Chris Merrick. Jeremy, Molly, and Jacob Roloff, the other adult Roloff children, have all moved out over the years with the show. Nonetheless, Zach Rolloff became one of the show's primary characters since he was the only member of the family other than his parents to be born with dwarfism. Is it feasible for the TLC program Little People, Big World to go on without the pair now that they have decided to leave the show? Matt Rolloff offers his opinion and teases the future of the show. The patriarch of the Rolloff family has spoken out about his side of the tale since his son left the family program. Matt Rolloff said in a long Facebook post that all the reasons why Little People, Big World may be coming to an end. First of all, Rolloff disclosed that he was free to express his opinions much more freely after season 25 since he was no longer bound by an NDA with TLC. The reality star continued to address the speculation regarding the show's future and acknowledged that the patriarch of the Rolloff family is therefore unsure of who would want to return for the show, even if the network were to renew it. Matt Rolloff's exact words in this instance were, "This is why I think there is some hesitation to announce from TLC that the show is over." Even though the family as a whole is enjoying being away from it all after 19 to 20 years, Karen and many other family members have publicly stated they are done with filming, he continued. "If there comes a time when we feel like we need to share more, if the opportunity comes up, maybe," he continued, "for 100 episodes or something, you kind of feel like you've done it all." He also disclosed that the family had originally intended to shut down the show in 2010 in order to resume their regular lives, and they had even made the announcement in a press statement. But a few weeks later, TLC asked them to do 6 programs, which paved the way for the Wedding Farm season. In 2012, the program eventually returned to its original format. Rolloff continued by saying that he was unable to comment on the show's future. However, he thinks that TLC did a nice job on the season finale episode hedging their bets and putting a nice button on the show and where the family members that still participate stands if it were to terminate after season 25. The conflict around the Rolloff family farm marked the start of the end. Speaking about family, Matt Rolloff also said that the program has always been a relationship-based program. He also said that it was challenging to create the same kind of content as before because of the clear divide between him and his son Zach Rolloff. The father and son have had a difficult relationship for some time, as viewers of the show are aware. It all began when Zach Rolloff, the oldest son, expressed interest in assuming control of the family property. His son, however, felt deeply deceived when Matt chose to list 16 acres of the farm for sale without seeking advice. When Matt Rolloff offered his son a portion of the land for $4 million, which Zach couldn't afford, their feud reached its zenith. After a year of negotiations, Matt Rolloff moved to Battleground, Washington, with his wife and 3 children after refusing to accept his son's offer. When Matt Rolloff went on the record to say that his son had cut him off from his grandchildren entirely, the turmoil only became worse. Following the conflict, Zach and Tori Roloff stopped taking their children to the farm, according to Matt Rolloff and his fiancée in the Little People, Big World Season 23 premiere. "My job as a grandpa is to love my grandkids, and that's the sad part. You never get all that time back," Matt Rolloff said, expressing how difficult the separation had been for him. Zach Rolloff wants to shield his kids from reality TV's pressure. Zach's version of events was somewhat different. The Rolloff family has been in the spotlight for almost 20 years, having been a part of the show since 2006. Zach Rolloff talked about having his entire life filmed when he was a child in the same podcast episode where the couple announced their departure from the show. Rolloff, who began starring in the Zach and Tori Roloff, were open about their son Jackson Roloff's discomfort with filming, and Tori added that as parents, it was crucial for them to respect their children's wishes and remove themselves from the reality TV world, especially since it had begun to bother them. He regrets a few episodes and incidents, which is why the reality couple didn't want to put the same kind of pressure on their kids. At this point, Zach and Matt Rolloff's disagreements might as well be irreconcilable. Zach talked about how his relationship with his family had changed over the years in the Little World, Big People Season 25 finale. He acknowledged that although the farm played a significant role in his life, he couldn't say the same for his kids. To defend his kids, Zach said, "No one's holding grudges. No one's intentionally not going to the farm. There's just no interest. The kids don't ask. There's nothing we're hiding from them. It's just they don't ask, and they have their own space up here," referring to his property in Washington. Zach Rolloff also revealed the current state of his relationship with his father on another episode of his podcast. The reality star acknowledged that they did not have a close relationship and that he had been allowing himself and his father some space after filming was finished. Rolloff Jr. persisted in criticizing his father, saying that he was still in denial and thought he had done nothing wrong.